Hey there, Pastor Rob here. I am here with in Liberia, in Monrovia, at the Carver Christian Academy, and I've been teaching an item class on Christ-centered preaching. And one of the things that we have done, we've invited others from neighboring countries to join us. And through a connection with Pastor Bill Wilton, our executive director, we came into contact with Brother Moses here, who is from the Christian Reformed Church of Sierra Leone. And Brother Moses traveled with two colleagues of his from the churches in Sierra Leone. They drove from Sierra Leone, which neighbors Liberia, and they were part of our preaching conference, and they'll be part of a class that one of our other instructors is teaching later this week. And Moses and I got to talking about how the Christian Reformed Church in Liberia in Sierra Leone got its start, and I thought this was the most exciting thing. And so I've asked him if he would just share a little bit about how the CRC in Sierra Leone had its beginning, and I thought I'd share that with you. So Moses, would you tell us how the CRC in Sierra Leone began?
Thank you so much. Moses Musa Jawara is my name, the national president for the Christian Reformed Church of Sierra Leone. It's a joy to be part of this journey. The Christian Reformed Church of Sierra Leone started way back in 1979 as a relief arm providing relief services for the poorest communities. It was chosen Kwenadugu district because Kwenadugu district at the moment was a very, very poor community, and the Kranko were the poorest in Sierra Leone. So as such, the gospel started among them through providing borehole facilities for the communities, medical facilities, and as well as some agricultural activities. As those relief services continued, then they introduced the evangelism department through telling of stories in various communities. Some evangelists were trained, and they were moving from community to community telling the story of Jesus Christ. Through that process, most Muslims, most unbelievers gave their life to Christ, let go of their traditional beliefs, and embrace the love of Jesus Christ. As that was going, the need for the church itself, the denomination, to commence, because by then they were calling it as the CS Church. CS was the name that was being used in Sierra Leone as the relief name, whereas being supported by the churches in North America and through World Renewed and Waterview. So as that continued, the need for these new believers to belong to a particular denomination continued to increase as the believers were growing in numbers. So then they requested that we need a denomination that is supporting us with all of these relief services. We want to belong to this church. We want to be as a family. We want to fellowship together. So that is why in 2005, the church was introduced as SIT, S-I-T, seeing it through. That is moving now from the area of relief and into a full denominational church that was established. So it took between 2005 to 2007, officially the name Christian Reformed Church was adopted, the registrations were done, and that is how we form a congregation of believers. At the moment, the Lord has been faithful with us.
Amen. One of the things, Moses, that I love about this is more kind of on a personal note. You said the relief work began in Sierra Leone in 1979.
Yes.
And that was the year that I was born. And
Yes.
so, which tells you how old I am, but that's another story.
Yes.
But I grew up in the Christian Reformed Church in North America, and one of the things that I heard frequently as a child was the work of, it was called CRWRC in Sierra Leone. And so
Yes.
our church would take offerings for CRWRC. Now, I had no idea what that was at the time, and I had no idea where this place called Sierra Leone was, but I remember very clearly hearing over and over again how our church was supporting CRWRC and their work in Sierra Leone. And so I remember even praying for the country as a child, and so it's just so fascinating to me to see how God was, for all those years, God was working through some very difficult times in the country of Sierra Leone to bring relief and to bring help. And then out of that, God brought a church that is growing, and it is having a very powerful impact and witness in the country of Sierra Leone to God's glory. Um, before we sign off, tell us a little bit just about how many churches there are today in Sierra Leone and how many pastors, and tell us how we can pray for the Christian Reformed Church of Sierra Leone.
Thank you so much, sir. The church currently, through the grace of God, despite the various challenges of 11 years rebel war that we have faced, we are still making progress. We currently have 65 congregations across Sierra Leone, and we have a pastoral base of about 40 pastors, though most of these pastors are not trained. So that leads me to one of the prayer requests, that we need training. Training is one great need that we request for the pastors in Sierra Leone, to be trained through theological ways so that they'll be able to preach. So most of them are lay leaders that pastor these churches and so forth. And the churches are also established primarily in the remote areas, in the villages. So vehicle movement to visit some of these churches is also a challenge. So mobility is something we could also consider as a prayer need for these communities. Motorbike vehicles, so that they'll be, because one person covering about 5 to 6 churches. So moving through those churches to minister as a pastor, they walk miles away to share the gospel. So these are challenges that you pray for us about.
Well, thank you for that, and we will commit to doing that. And this will maybe just give me a moment to thank the supporters of ITEM, International Theological Education Ministries. ITEM is supported by churches and individuals who support ITEM in this mission of bringing training and teaching to exactly the sort of places that Moses is describing, to places like Sierra Leone. We are not currently training in Sierra Leone. We are in Liberia, but there is such a need, and it's so exciting to see. And so we will continue to pray that God opens these doors for training and for instruction, and that the church will continue to grow to the grace and the glory of God.
Thank you so much. We appreciate your support throughout all these years. It's because of your support we are doing what you're doing in Sierra Leone. So keep praying for us, keep sending your support, and by so the church will continue to thrive. Thank you for your support.